Greetings, all. Welcome to round two of the racing line. As you can see, we're a little short tonight. Mr. Adam Thompson was detained. I guess one of his airplanes was broke, so Uncle Sam decided they needed to have him stay and do some work tonight. So I get the pleasure of working with JG2 tonight. So good to see you, bud.
You too, Stevie. Yeah, it's a shame. I was looking forward to getting to Adam's reactions to both the Formula Ford and the SRF races because we had some great battles in both races. So I was looking forward to hearing the hype from him about it.
Yeah, he gets a little excited when those things are going side by side and
Yep.
the whole lap like we do. But the weekend warriors are kind of known for that kind of activity. So
Yep. And we did not disappoint this weekend.
yeah, no, there was some good racing. I wish I could have made it. I had some family in town for a special weekend and had me a little busy, but I got to see some of the after effects. So
Hmm.
it was a lot of fun. So I think first up we had the Formula V's, and let's see, where were they? At
There at Oschersleben.
Oschersleben. I can never say that word. So
Oh, I'm probably David will probably tell me I'm not pronouncing that correctly, but that's the best I can
yeah,
do.
yep. So let me see if I can share a screen here, and we'll look at the results real quick for that. And uh, there we go. Looks like Jesus Rodriguez won it over you.
Over me. Yep.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you got to join the V's this week.
Yep. Yeah. Had
Like
didn't have any IndyCar races or anything, so I was able to join him this week. Jesus drove a very smart race. Um, Let me lead for most of it, and then we had a good battle on the last lap. Yeah, he just managed to get me right at the very end.
a whopping 2/10 of a second. So
Hmm.
you and you had a bit of a gap over third place. Looks like you two battled pretty good. And then our first spec two, they had a couple of seconds between them, but Parvinder and Andrew Love. So
Yep, Pavrinder was pretty quick as well. Just lost the draft, I think, on lap 3 or 4, and I was able to slowly pull away from him. Jesus and I working together to
yeah,
slowly pull away.
those V's, once you lose the draft, it's all over. And
Hmm.
it's the same, very much the same thing in real world.
Yep.
So, and which we have some of that information coming up later on in the broadcast. So
Hmm.
it'll be interesting. Let's see. We kind of scroll down here through the results. Alan DeGassis and Jim Brewster,
Yeah, Jim
Jacobson.
got a little unlucky on the very last lap. Him and I think it was Guido tangled, battling in the last chicane. Um,
Yeah.
at the end of the lap, yeah, got a
Oh man.
little neck code hit. Fortunately, he was able to finish.
All right. Jeff Jacobson, Dave, you had a pretty good field here. What
Yep, we had a full grid for the V's. I think we had
yeah,
16 or 17 take the grid.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, it was a great group, and lots of clean racing.
All right. Let's see if I can as you can see, everybody, we're still learning this stuff, and as we go along, so hopefully we'll get better at all this. But it's mainly just about sharing the what we do and getting to know some of the weekend warriors a little bit better, and then some of our guests as they come in later. So we just have a chat every Tuesday night and talk about our league racing and who they are and what they did. So let's see if I can get some results or the standings up for the V's. And there we go. You seeing that all right?
Jesus, yep,
Yep. All right.
Jesus can his domination of the V's this season. It's got a healthy gap.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, a win is going to get you about what 105 roughly or something. So even if Allen kicks in a win, he's still got a little bit of a gap there. And you can see he's sitting on 8 races, and Jesus is already sitting on 9, and nine's the most you're going to get. The
Hmm.
only way Jesus is going to increase his numbers is having some better races than his worst races he's had in the season.
Yep. What? So the maximum points, what would be 950 ish, I guess.
Something like yeah,
If
something
he
like
won
that.
every race and led every lap, I guess.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
he's close to that number. So yeah, Allen would have to go on a tear here at the towards the end of the season.
yeah. And then he's got a pretty good gap over Jim Brewster. He's pretty settled in there and third as well for the season, I think. So they both got 8. Let's see if you threw in a couple hundred. No,
Yeah, all depends on the drop
might.
weeks. If
Yeah,
if
yeah.
they won out the rest of the races of the season, who knows?
Could be. All right. And let's see if we can take a look at the Spec 2 class. So there you go. Michelle kicking butt.
Yep. Yeah,
She's
she had did have another spin. Sorry to bring it up, Michelle. She did have another spin this race. So yeah, but besides that, she was super quick as always. So
yeah,
um, yeah, continuing to build her lead in Spec 2. And I think if she can just get rid of those one spin a race, yeah, she'd uh, get even more of a lead. So I think she's only getting better.
yeah, yeah. Well, Gary Wobolt, he's averaging what about is that 70-ish? So he could get up there close. Depends on how Michelle does with her drops and what Gary's got going on. He could push her a little bit, I think.
Hmm.
So this week it was an unbroadcasted race for the Formula V's, but Michelle Lynn has got a friend of hers that's going to help sponsor this next week, and they're going to be at Zandvoort, I think. So it will be a broadcasted race this week. And then as of right now, week 11 will not. And then week 12 will be a broadcasted race again for those guys. So 2 out of the next 3, and with the final being a broadcasted race. So tune in. It ought to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, the Visa Zandvoort should be wild. I'm not going to be able to do that one, but
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
that's
sure it'll be it'll be wild for them.
yeah. You say draft. Yeah. All right. So I think next up, that was Saturday. Sunday started off with the Formula Fords. And I think, Jason, you've got some replays to show us.
Yes, sir. So yeah, Formula Fords at Imola. Very difficult track in any car. Um, but yeah, a lot of fun in the V's, or sorry, the Formula Fords. Lots of draft. We'll see how it went. We had Dan and Randall on the call for this one.
This could be a very, very crucial move as these guys are going to be getting ready to go green any moment now. Barry is going to want the best launch he can get. Gonzaga able to cover off that line on the opposite side of the track, but we're getting ready. The suspense. Come on. Looks like he's gone single file there. Yep, and I think he's off. I think he's absolutely cheesed it. I know I certainly would have done. And yep, there we go. Go, 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 go. And you see there, James Barry, able to absolutely run away, leaving his teammate a little bit behind him because Gonzaga already 1 second back. So definitely a colorful start there. Looks like the guys generally getting very quickly into single file, and I can't blame them there. Everybody clean through so far as we look through the field. A couple of moves being made. Jim Brewster trying to make a move there on the outside and then the inside, flicking it over, but clean racing so far.
Yeah, as you can see, we were running the moto layout as well. So that last moto chicane right before the start finish line, it was awful on the start.
Yeah. Oh,
As
I
you can see,
imagine.
James got it instantly a 1 second gap. Just getting a good launch. I think I lost like a second to George in front of me right away. So it actually made it a very clean start because you couldn't go too
Everybody
wide through it.
spread out. Yeah.
Yeah, instantly spread out. So it made it a clean start, but it was a little frustrating at the beginning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So
Andrew Lau,
there we go.
we're going to take another look here, taking a look at Andrew Lau's car. And Dave Foy does run wide there coming out of that first chicane, allows Lau around the outside, and then Foy's going to end up giving up another position coming into Villeneuve.
Never very good at geography, but there we go. Here's a replay. Oh my gosh, and I can see why I've got crash warnings. 3 wide, potentially 4 wide at one point. And you can see there, gets hooked up. Chaos, panic, and disorder. It's like I joined a battle myself. Slow down by the look of that.
Yeah, it's a classic turn 1, Imola turn 1 crash. 3 wide into turn 1's always going to end up like that.
Having to really, dial that car back. And it just goes to show as well, risk versus what. As we look further through the field, looks like they were 2 wide, almost 3 wide at one point, and everything is absolutely flying around like a hornet's nest. Joshua Wilkie looking to get by and finding the door closed very firmly in his face, not able to make a move. And here we have Kevin Adrian as well. He is hot, trying to make the action, chasing after Fabian Singer, who's looking like he's trying to put a wheel up on the inside of Paul Stevens, not quite able to get it done. Stevens with the much better exit speed there, as Adrian, I believe, is trying to make a move down the outside.
Somebody came into this deck of cards and decided to shuffle it up. Dave Foy now in the lead for Spec 2. We jump up to Jörg Manny running.
And that's just the start of the battle for Spec 2. They had a wild battle between David Foy, Bill Walker, and Fabian, I think. They had a
Fabian Singer. Yep.
Yep. That went the whole race pretty much.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fourth right there on the tailpipe of Jorge Gonzaga.
Well, this is something that Antonio Reese will be very much hoping that Jorge can absolutely defend against Jörg Manny. This is the battle for the Masters class, albeit there's Master versus Apprentice in some ways in this case. Jörg absolutely trying to run away now, but it's fair to say Jorge is absolutely applying the pressure. But Jason Green right behind him as well. Both those cars, 3/10 of a second between them.
And Jorge Gonzaga inherited that P2 starting position. You saw he started up there right with James Berry. James caught him sleeping a little bit. Jorge, I'm making the same mistake. Jorge has been steadily falling back as we see contact between him and Jason Green. That's going to really put a damper on Jason Green's race. Doesn't look like either car picked up much damage. Michael McConnell going to inherit a position there.
Yeah, it's again classic Imola turn 1 incident. It was 50-50 kind of at fault there. I was probably a little too aggressive in going for it. And then George didn't leave quite enough room on the inside, so we interlocked wheels. Just a racing deal.
Look, we've got a quick replay here of Ismail Batug making another pass. This guy is definitely keen to make his way through the field and making a pass on the outside. That's definitely brave, but it looks like he's got it done. Starts on the outside, goes to the inside, and Matthew Briggs doing everything he can to try and defend that. But Ismail able to carry a little bit more exit speed there. So even if he didn't get him at the first part of the maneuver, he's certainly going to try it at the second. Very hot on the heels there of Matthew Briggs. And he was passed for a very brief second and then not quite able to get it done. Briggs manages to hold on. Well, I say that, it looks like his mouth wasn't having any of it. The Iberian driver has said, nope, I'm keen for that position. And I'm taking it. Consider it mine.
We're taking a look at Bill Walker now. He had a run through Acca Minerale, got a little bit wide, coming up to very anti-alpha.
More of the Spec 2 battle.
But he's going to have some trouble with these curves, and that's exactly what happens. Gets a little bit too much of that inside curve and goes around on his own.
As we see here, Fabian Singer, he's now trying to take a piece out of Michael McConnell. Obviously, Bill Walker having that little spin. That's put a new target on the back, and it looks like he's going to get it done. The 8-10 of Fabian Singer is now going side by side with Michael McConnell. He's currently ahead as they're heading down into Bill Walker's favorite chicane at this point, if I'm not mistaken. And is he going to have enough room to get it by? Yep, covers off the inside and tries to run away as fast as he can and leave that Spec 1 car in his rearview mirror. Or under Masters are over 60, but S2 drivers can voluntarily move to S1. So definitely a good piece of information there. As I got to say, Michael McConnell, you have won my favorite headshot so far for this series. That's a Stitch costume, ladies and gentlemen.
We see Stitch make that move, gets that spot back from Singer into the Villeneuve chicane.
You know, it's interesting how he does that tactic. As we're seeing here, Fabian Singer and that's Michael McConnell again going at it. And it looks like Fabian Singer's is there trying to make a move on the outside, inside. You know, he's on one side. He's definitely gone and got that move done. And a very clean pass at that. You know, the potential is still there to move up and potentially get certainly a 6th place, maybe even a 5th if he can really get things swinging his way.
And that Spec 2 win is on offer.
David Foy been able to hold on to that, certainly the S2 lead for quite a while now. Fredo Coleman, not really his immediate rival, but he is the car between him and Singer. So Fabian Singer will be keen, as we see here, a very, very low cam. And if he gets any closer, he's going to be in that exhaust. And I thought, oh my gosh, I thought they were going to have contact then. See a little bit of a glitch there. And he's absolutely sending it up the inside, able to get that inside line and gets the move done.
We're seeing Fabian is
What
on
is that? Got 3 chicanes on that track.
Gap to make up. We've seen that he's kind of struggled to keep the pace up, but now he's finding a little pace in the closing stages of this race. I think they're going to be taking the white flag now, possibly.
Yeah,
and we do see the white flag now. That battle for the Spec 2 win
unique.
is definitely on. He's got an entire lap to close this gap and then make a run there on David Foy, but Dave Foy's got that slipstream from Gonzaga and might even be looking to make a move himself.
David Foy right behind.
Yeah, it does look like the 726 has closed up on Gonzaga, absolutely, and this could be a crucial thing. Fabian Singer is not going to want David Foy to get ahead, as it looks like Gonzaga just shut the door there. He's going defensive, and the whole time he goes defensive, it's going to push Foy back towards Singer. This is the kind of driving antics that we saw from Carlos Sainz recently in one of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, we can see a 3-wide run into the Ravazza or possibly some last-minute dives going into that moto chicane. Dave Foy right there on the tailpipe of Gonzaga as they come down to Ackerman and Raleigh. Singer has closed it
there.
This is now a threesome here. We'll see who's going to come out the best coming up to Variante Alta. We could see disaster as Jorge Gonzaga runs a little wide and gets not the greatest run there out of Ackerman and Raleigh. Going to bring Dave Foy alongside into Variante Alta and gets the inside line and keeps it covered off. Foy going to have not the greatest run through there, gets choked off and going to be falling into the clutches of Fabian Singer as they run down towards Ravazza.
Well, honestly, I thought Gonzaga was going to lose it then, but he's been able to hold on as we see James Barry cross the line. Fantastic win for him.
Antonio was all out by himself
in second, but we're back here with David Foy and Fabian Singer. The action spicing up as they head there through Ravazza. Is Singer going to be able to get enough of a slipstream to get it done? There's only a couple of moments, and they're going to the pits, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, it could be that
wow.
have gotten enough incidents for a drive-through penalty, or they were both short-fueled and needed a splash. They're both coming in to serve that penalty now.
Well, I've got to say, I'm still...
We'll have to pause that and hear what happened there.
Yeah, they had a net code contact at the last chicane. And gave them both a 4X, and unfortunately, they gave both of them a drive-through.
Oh, man, right? Lap. Yeah, wow.
So, yeah.
Still confused, excited, and amazed by that race ending between David Foy and Fabian Singer. I'm looking forward.
And unfortunately, if you get a drive-through on the last lap, you get a 40-second penalty, no matter what. So I already let them know on Discord that in that specific case, you don't want to actually take the drive-through. You want to just cross the line because you're going to get the penalty no matter what.
Yeah.
So it's faster to just
go ahead and cross the line and take the 40 seconds. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So so that gives the Spec 2 win to Bill Walker. I think he was very surprised. When he saw the results.
I can imagine. Yeah.
But yeah, James with another dominant win. He instantly broke the draft before we got to the start finish line, and just pulled away from there.
And just gone. Yep.
Antonio again, was super quick at Imola, didn't make any mistakes, gets the Masters win. And then, yeah, Bill Walker inherits a Spec 2 win. Yeah, kept it clean and stayed out of trouble.
That's awesome. Yeah, look at the old guys. 2 out of the 3 positions on the podium overall. Kind of noticed that. And then when I pull up the points here, I'm going to show you the overall points, and we'll take a look at that first.
Yep.
So,
I
okay.
guess shout out to Andrew Lau as well. I think it's his first race
Yep.
with us, P4 overall.
Okay. Yep.
Also, Ishmael, also his first race with us, started I think he started last. Had a spin, and still finished in 8th. So super quick driver.
Good job. Yeah.
We're happy to have him.
Good job, both of those guys. Welcome to the Weekend Warriors. What a week to do it. All right, Jason, if you will cut your share, and then I will put mine up. And all right, so there you go. There's the overall. And if you notice, Mr. Antonio is second overall in the points. So the old guys are not the slow guys, as Adam calls us. So,
Mm-hmm.
in fact, there's only 4 points between yourself and Antonio. So you 3 have the 9 races, but look there, Mr. McConnell. He's far enough back. I don't think one more is going to get him up there. So.
Yep, it's drop weeks as well. I think Michael had a lot of bad luck at the beginning of the season, so he's got a lot of drop weeks, I think, or races that he can drop and improve. So anything can happen. I don't think anyone's going to catch James, but yeah, we'll see. We'll do our best. We'll need a lot of luck, though, I think.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Let's take a look at Spec 1 class. So there you go. There's the Spec 1 guys only. And just as we were talking about, James has a pretty good lead. And then we've got some guys down here with a few races they can make up.
Yep.
And like we mentioned before, once you get to 9 races, the only way you're going to improve the points is to have better points than your worst races you had. So it'll drop your worst and pick up those points. So you get the difference basically to increase your points. Spec 2 class. And David Foy has got about a 100-point lead.
Yep. Yeah, despite the drive-through at the end of the race, yeah, he's had a really good season pace-wise, and yeah, just I think he just kind of similar to Michelle. He just has one incident, a race that kind of sets him back. So I think if he can put a couple races together and stay out of trouble, he can. I think he can easily finish top 5.
All right. Bill
And then,
Walker's been coming on.
Same for Bill. He's had really good pace this season as well.
All right, so now I have to go back this way to get to the Masters. And there you go. Antonio's just running away from it.
Yep, dominating.
Yeah, having a really good season.
Yep. Yeah, Antonio has he's had a really solid season. I don't remember any huge mistakes from him this season. So yeah, he's drove really clean races and had really consistent finishes all season. Monty, he's always fast, but he's made a couple more mistakes than Antonio, which is hurt him overall in the points. But yeah, so that what that means is he's got a low or some low races to drop points wise.
Mm-hmm.
So if he goes on a tear for the last 3 weeks, we could see that gap close up.
Yeah, he's really increased his consistency. It's like he's driving younger than older. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. And Brewster, he's still got a couple of races to make up on these guys. So
Yep.
don't count him out.
Yeah, never count out Jim. If he gets in front of you, you're not getting past easy. So
Yeah. All right. You ready to do some spec Fords?
yes, sir. So SRFs were at Zandvoort's on the national layout, which was very very interesting. And we'll see how interesting it was.
We're going to be taking the green very soon. We're going to see who's best on cold tires here is going to have a good start and make some spots up, and who's not good on cold tires is going to struggle probably into that hairpin on the cut through.
We've got to say it's interesting to see the 00 car having a as delivery. Now, for those of us in America, Canada, and that side of the pond, it is a supermarket chain, but it looks like Bramley has chosen to go, and he is off and absolutely pulling away from the field right now, already trying to get half a second gap, but it looks like Dudu's managed to loop up the field 2 positions already, snaking that second position away from Bobby West and Jason Green, respectively.
Big fight between Jeff Fritcher and Adam Bradshaw for the Masters lead. Fritcher up 3 spots on that start, going to have the Masters lead over Bradshaw there in the Irish flag livery. Right now, sitting comfortably in P5. They've managed to work the field out pretty well so far, single file through most of the field as they make the run down to turn 6.
Everyone's looking good so far, as we see there for Vini and Joshua Justice. Justice in the 99 car as the 28.
Whoa.
Been able to get the car stopped, but only just avoiding a major accident there. And you see there the 2.6.
That was the exact scenario when the first time I drove this track. I was like,
Yeah.
Sunday weekend warriors, somebody's gonna lock up and take out half the field here. And Dan was on Discord with me at the time. I heard him. I heard him indicating that he had messed up there, and I was like, Dan, you weren't the one that confirmed my worst fears, were you? But yeah, he tried to play it too safe. He broke offline, and just that's in playing it safe. He almost caused a huge wreck. So, but he did a great job to get it stopped. Stayed everybody's way, and everybody managed to get through it. Which I was when I saw the replay of this, I was shocked. So well done, everybody, to get through that, because that was that was a potential field record right there.
Yeah.
See Russell Telka, he's trying to get moving again. And the 28 is Daniel Wood. That's the gentleman who had the little bit of a whoops moment, but able to recover the car, keep things going, and without causing any huge detrimental effect to any of the other races around him.
Daniel Wood falling victim. Oh, we see some major damage in the back of the number 40 cars around. A couple more cars collected as they come through the Hans Ernst chicane. Probably starting to slow down.
So here we go. Oops, sorry. Go ahead, Brandon.
Jeff Jacobson here coming up to the Hans Ernst chicane. He has the preferred racing line, though. He has somebody sniffing on the inside. Runs a little wide to the first apex. Gets over here, and the door is closed on him.
Come right down on him.
He had his foot right in there, and somebody came down and spun him around. They collected another couple cars.
Did you see that?
Yeah, just an unfortunate racing incident. Arnis overshot the corner a little bit, and Jeff couldn't see him. Arnis very very late apex, and Jeff's nose was there. So just an unlucky incident.
Castro, he's running the outside line. Hayden Bramley on the inside, the 00 car, just trying to not, defend the line, but to try and break the draft of Dudu Castro. And they're hugging the inside line. Castro getting a little bit of a better exit there and applying pressure under a 1/10 of a second now is indeed the gentleman I'm thinking of. Doing a great job there, trying to battle with some of the regulars.
Oh, Castro hard into the wall, trying to follow. It looks like he was baited by Bramley a little bit into that inside wall. We'll see how much of that damage carries over, how much of it was net code, but a big mistake out of Castro. It looked like a very heavy look to the wall, and you can see the damage there on the right side of the car. Now we're going to get it. We're going to see Bramley is going to move over, and Castro's going to go to follow.
Yeah, I see that wall kind
Oh,
of cuts
it
in.
comes out. Yeah.
Mhm. So yeah, Dudu just kind of misjudged it. There is and they were talking about this on the broadcast. There is a tactic to kind of bait somebody to hitting that, but that's not what Hayden was doing there. Dudu was just following him over to get the draft, and I think he just overdid it
Hmm.
a little bit. So yeah, but Dudu got really lucky here to not get too much damage or spin out. So so yeah, let's watch that again.
Now we're gonna get it. We're gonna see Bramley is gonna move over, and Castro's gonna go to follow him, and just gets a little too eager, and that is a big slap. And it looked like he had the wheel mostly straight, so he might have gotten away with one.
I
Agreed,
gotta
Sid.
say, what an absolutely fascinating tactic, and it's not one that I've seen too often. As you see, a lock
Bramley
up
locks
there for
up.
double zero locks up, and that opens the door. Dudu Castro has snuck through. Bramley now under attack. He's trying to keep it side by side. Bramley able to take the position back, albeit very briefly, as Castro goes up on the inside. Now Bramley on the inside, the double zero able to regain that position. Things are spicing up here with the Weekend Warriors.
Looks like a sprint car race going through that turn 3 left-hander, as we had different lines resolving going through the corner, and Bramley manages to hold on to the lead and then cooks it into the cut through. Put a little bit too much heat in those tires during that lockup and paid the price for it 5 corners later.
Well, this is exactly the opportunity that the 89 of Bobby West was looking for, but Bramley is definitely not going to take that sitting down. They've got to remember, you know, who are you fighting? Are you fighting the guy ahead, or do you want to try and take that top spot? As Bramley goes, takes a double zero, and he is chasing yet again the 73 of Dudu Castro.
To lead a lap possibly, might just be letting these two duke it out after seeing how it's going for him. Just going to wait for them to maybe take each other out and inherit the lead off that. As we see, Bramley struggles with turn 6 once again, locks up that outside wheel as he's under braking, and this time Bobby West going to move up into P2.
So Bobby West right behind him, currently at 4 tenths of a second as they start the start-finish straight, but at the end we'll see how it goes. And it looks like Bramley is coming into the pits. And
it's Jason Green.
My apologies, Jason Green.
Jason Green dipping out of this says, enough for me. I'm going to go get some fuel now and maybe come out ahead of you guys
Yeah,
later.
that's pretty early for you.
What happened to this lead pack? I only see 4 cars in this lead pack where there were.
Yeah, so with Hayden having issues, we were going really slow, like maybe a second off of what we could lap by ourselves. And yeah, with the way everybody was driving, or the way he was driving, I could sense an incident incoming. So as soon as the pit window opened, I pitted to try to just do some quali laps by myself. But yeah, I think Hayden is a newer driver for the SRF.
Yeah, I
and
think that was his first week.
I think he was with us last week, but
Maybe.
yeah, I think this is like second race or so. But
Okay.
but yeah, he's kind of learning the hard way that you can't really drive the SRF like that. You need to take care of the tires a lot more because they're very sensitive tires, subject to thermal degradation.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as they overheat, yeah, you're going to lose a lot of performance. So yeah, just kind of pushed it a little too hard, and then locked up in turn 1, locked up in the hairpin. So yeah, just trying to. I was trying to get away from that to
Oh, okay.
to make up some ground that way.
We're
Made a
6
speedy
earlier.
pit.
We see Dudu Castro looking to come into the pit lane. Definitely going to be taking some repairs with that damage as soon as his pit window opened.
Jason Green's going to be looking to get by as quick as possible, showing he's keen to get by. And here's Dudu Castro now. Where is Green going to be in comparison, as Green is going around the outside? And it looks like Castro has managed to retain that lead for now.
Yes, he has Castro with Bradshaw and Favini following him. We're going to take a look at this move again as Bramley moves to the inside, gets the move done very slowly, but eventually gets it done on corner exit.
Well, it looks like Bobby West is yet again getting caught out in turn 1 as Jeff Fritcher makes a move on him as well. And it's fair to say that it looks like Bramley's gone into the pits. He's bailed out as well. So a few of the drivers choosing to go for that undercut maneuver there. Bramley perhaps finding his tires a little bit hot. So not just pitting to try and get the fuel stop done and out the way, but potentially give the tires a chance to cool down and potentially reset. As you see, Dudu Castro, he is absolutely streaming by. Bramley still in the pits, nowhere to be seen. What has happened with Bramley?
Look, it looks like Hayden Bramley.
Yeah, so again, critical mistake for Hayden. Usually I would say that somebody did that on accident, but I think in Discord he was saying he actually did that on purpose to take tires. Yeah, just because he had overheated them, so he figured everybody
Hmm.
else would take tires too. But yeah, in the SRF, it's never going to work out.
Yeah.
It's all thermal degradation. There's at the end of the races, we saw like 98% tread left.
Yeah.
So it's all in the temperature of the tire. So you're never going to make back the time you lose
Yeah.
by changing the tires.
Yeah. You just got to let them cool down a little bit.
Hmm.
Yep. I want to notice Mr. Jeff Fritcher. I mean, he's really come on lately in the Masters
Hmm.
class, and he was up there with that lead pack. And with those guys bailing out, he's actually leading overall at this
Yep.
point. So hats off to Jeff. He's really improved this season.
Yeah. Jeff's both his pace and his racecraft have improved the last couple seasons.
Yep.
In the official races, he's always battling for the win in the strength of field races when he's there. So
Yep.
so yeah, he's been much improved the last couple of seasons. He's been doing great, and
Awesome.
yeah, super clean racer, very
Yep.
good when battling. So
All
It might
right, let's
change
get this
tires.
one
We see the
finished.
car coming down off the jacks. Bramley stopped for almost 10 to 12 seconds longer than everybody else that's come in. So that's going to really ruin his race. Fritcher coming out of the pits from the lead. Left Bobby West. Bobby West stayed out there on his own. So he's going to be on an island a bit. He really needs to come in this lap or he's going to be suffering from being out there alone and not having any of that slipstream. Possibly a sign that he is able to save a lot of fuel, though, that he stayed out.
Potentially as well, but it looks like Antonio Reese has been able to get around Jeff Reacher. Now, Jeff Reacher, we did see come out of the pits as well, but Reese applying pressure to Jacobson in the number 40 car, tactic that I would do, and that is pit as late as possible. But when is he going to come in? Is he going to be this lap? You know, with 13 minutes remaining, it looks like, yep, now is the time. Where is he going to emerge after the pit stop? Will that clean air have paid off for him?
Right now, Bobby West still sitting stationary in his pit lane as he's approaching 10 seconds stationary. Now rolling again with a 9.95 second pit stop. We'll see where he comes out as he's making his way through the exit. Here comes Dudu through turn one. It's going to be a drag race. I think Dudu might have the advantage here. Going to be very close. Bobby West going to come in, rejoin the track behind Dudu Castro, but close enough to possibly attack.
I do see it looks like there was maybe an incident for Chris Montgomery, who is currently leading the S2, but it's fair to say if there is, he's still doing all right, as it looks like Yosevix has managed to make it past Andrew Love.
Andrew Love giving up the spot. And a little bit of an incident there with Castro in a lap in another car. Who is that he's racing? Bobby Gould. A little bit of contact going to add more damage to the front of that car. We're going to see the car ahead getting onto the brakes a little heavy due to carrying more speed. And look at the front end damage on Castro's car now.
Well, it's interesting to see how it's going to be going out. But another thing I had thought about Bobby West as well, you know, is he just going to try and save his pass for the last move? As we see there, Adam Bradshaw making an absolutely beautiful pass on Daniel Wood. Right now, it looks like Jason Green in the 160 car. He's going up on the inside. He's going to try and get it done past Bobby West, and Bobby West tucks in behind, chooses not to fight, as Andrea Favini has a battle as well with Jeff Pritchard, able to get that done, heading down into turn one, albeit very briefly there.
Gets that run in turn one on the inside. There's a little bit of contact. Looks like Fritcher maybe got a bit of oversteer there on exit, came across the track.
For a second, I thought he was going to get a buy one, get one free, especially driving that Asda car, as he almost had two of those drivers going around that cut through to the National. But it looks like he's held off, and he's going for Frischer this time. It's going to be the Hayden machine versus the Frischer machine, and it looks like Brownlee with the extra speed, the 00, absolutely going for it. He's going to put that car very planted on the inside line, heading into turn one. I believe my colleague has muted his mic, but it looks like Antonio Reese is there going for it. He's in the battle now with Hayden. Hayden? Nope, try again. Adam Bradshaw, Antonio Reese, and Daniel Wood. These guys battling hard at it. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. He's caught in that mix, very much keeping out of it at the minute. As you see there, guy trying to break the draft, very aggressive turn there, and it looks like Bradshaw's been able to sneak up the inside. Now, as this opened the door for Antonio Reese in the 914, he's almost side by side with Daniel Wood in the 28 car, not quite able to get it done. And speaking of the last lap, we're going to be on it very soon. That is it. The white flag is waving, ladies and gentlemen. It is now or never.
Jason Green not managed to close that gap at all, but is still staying ahead of Bobby West. Bobby West keeping right on his tail. And we see this battle. Jeff Fritcher had a little bit of contact with Hayden Bramley there. We've seen it a couple laps in a row there out of Jeff Fritcher, gets a little bit loose on the exit. They're going to make the run through turn 3. Fritcher going to have the inside, but it's not the preferred line. Hayden Bramley going to have a lot of momentum on the outside, and the inside line on the run down to turn 6 should be able to get this done. Andrea Favini there lurking in the background, and he locks up a little bit. Going to give the spot back to Fritcher, and Favini going to inherit a spot, and we're going to see a three-way fight for this position as well.
Well, he had the traction of a shopping cart in that hairpin, not quite able to get it done. He went in all the way and definitely did not come back with the deal he was looking for, but it looks like Bradshaw has dropped back. Antonio Reese has managed to take that position from him, and he is running out of time if he wants to get it back. Antonio Reese second in the Masters right now. Frischer much further up the road, but can Reese hold on from Bradshaw? This is still a battle in the Masters division. As we see there, Dudu Castro across the line, Bobby West in second with Jason Green. It looks like
Bobby West snuck a spot there from Green there at the last moment, got him across the line. Favini
Zero
spot there in that group and going to
dead
be
heat.
coming across the line. So we're going to take a look at the Bobby West, Jason Green pass, and it looks like just an absolute slingshot engage. Bobby West comes alongside, maybe a little bit of contact, and what a photo finish there at the end. We'll have to wait for the official results. Bobby West may not have actually gotten that, so we'll see what it says in the official standings once the race is over.
We're having a look at the move on Reese on Bradshaw. This is near the closing stages of the race. Lots of action happening all over this, and this is the move we're looking for. And it looks like Bradshaw just pushed a little bit wide, and Antonio Reese said, "Thank you very much. I'll take that action." And he does everything he can, smashing the gas pedal to the floor, trying to make the most of the situation presented to him. And through the chicane, definitely pushes a little bit on the wider side, but able to keep the car in control. But that isn't going to be over yet. He had to keep Bradshaw behind him for the remainder of the race. That huge, massive opportunity for Bradshaw to get a tow, and it looks like Reese was able to hold on to it there. We're looking at the results, he certainly was, and pulled away a little bit from Bradshaw there. And you can see there, that is one of the cars.
Contact.
Reese spin.
Antonio Reese gets spun out by Bradshaw. And we also saw coming through that chicane that Daniel Wood fell back into the clutches of Joshua Justice with a little bit of a squirrely line through the chicane.
Well, got pretty hot at the end.
Yeah. So
yeah, that got pretty hot at the end.
Antonio started sputtering.
Oh no!
In the final turn, so kind of caught Adam out a little bit. Didn't expect to close in on him that fast. So so yeah, super unlucky for that to happen. But yeah, it looked like on the replay that it was because Antonio ran out of fuel. So yeah, it's super hard for Adam to predict that. But yeah, Bobby. Every official race I was leading going into that corner, and I thought I had enough of a gap. So I didn't really weave or do anything to try to break the toe. And yeah, he just got such a good run. 6,000 at the line.
6,000. Wow.
Yeah. So well done from Bobby, because he was under fueled a little bit, so he had to do some fuel saving to make it to the end. Another solid showing from Dudu. Just too fast. I couldn't catch up to him. And shout out to Andrea. I think this might be his best finish ever. In the Weekend Warriors SRF's fourth overall. Well done, man. Jeff Fritcher. So the difference between them was 400ths. So a good top 5 from Jeff.
Wow.
And Masters win. And then Chris Montgomery takes a Spec 2 win in P10.
Awesome. Yeah, that's had quite a bit of action right there at the end. So.
Yep. True SRF style. Lots of battles on the last lap and close racing. So well done, everybody.
All right, let's throw some points up. So do that real quick. And again, I'm going to share the overall first. And check out 2 of the 5 top on that board.
Yep.
So got to point to the old guys. So, but awesome. And then take a look who's leading the charge there.
Yep. Yeah. Shout out to Monty. I think he started every race from the back this season in the SRFs. So yeah, he's been doing that, and he's P5 overall in the points. So it's well done from him.
Yep.
Dudu with his win is he's got 2 races less. sitting on 577. So yeah, I really needed to win that race because
Mm-hmm.
the rest of the races this season aren't as strong tracks for me, whereas Zandvoort was. So yeah. So
Yeah. Take a look
can
at the numbers.
still pull this out.
If you put 2 wins on duty, 105 points each win, it's 210, and figure out what that adds up to. 787.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah. That's going to be
that would be
fun.
wild.
Yep, going to be a fun season.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there's spec one. Once again, out Les Plava is one less race down too, so he could be a factor. It could be a 4 race horse. Yeah, I mean that's going to be fun.
Yeah, and I get a shout out to Dan as well. He's been having a good season.
Yeah.
Really improved from last season.
Spec 2 guys.
Russ hanging on for dear life.
Yeah.
Let's go, Russ.
Yeah. 3 point. Andrew Love, by the way, is one of the masters and chose to drop back down to and run spec 2. So he's having some fun there. And let's see what we got for masters.
A little closer in this one.
Yeah.
But again, I think and again, Monty's been starting from the back every race, and I think Antonio has actually been qualified.
Yeah.
So even with that handicap, Monty's only 30 points back. So yeah, it's and shout out Tom as well, who's doing pretty well this season. Him and Brad.
Jeff's coming on.
Lurking. Yep. And Jeff has been has gotten super unlucky in the Weekend Warriors races. So he's hasn't where his finishes haven't showed his true potential, I think. But the top 5 or the 5th place this weekend is more where I expect him to finish.
Yep. So yeah, look out for him at the end of the season as well. So
yep.
All right. So let's just quickly talk about where they're going to be this next week, and then we need to get our special guest
at Zandvoort.
Oh,
where the SRFs just were. I think they're running the full layout, right? So
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that's a huge track for the V's. It's going to be a draft fest. But yeah, it should get wild there. I'm sure taking the banked turn 3 corner in those cars is absolutely wild.
Yeah. You're gonna put 3 of them side by side on that bank.
Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, the corners that the SRF skipped will probably are flat out in the V's. So yeah, I'm sure they'll have a lot of fun on that track.
And
Formula Fords are at Oran Park on the Moto.
Oh
layout.
yeah. The figure 8 track.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a super technical track. It's one of my favorites. In the Formula Fords, I don't think I'm as strong there as I am in the SRF, but yeah, it's very tricky. It's going to catch people out, especially turns 1 and 2.
That one's an easy track to overdrive.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yep.
It's it can be a little bumpy. The curbs could catch you out. The grass is right next to the track, so it can catch you out as well. So yeah, it's can be difficult to pass as well there. So it's a very it feels like an endurance race anytime you race there. Even a 40-minute race, it's you have to be concentrating all of the time. There's really never a break on that track, so it'll be it should be very, very interesting. Nords combined, the 24-hour layouts. It's talk about an endurance race again. It's going to be our longest race of the season. Even though it's limited to 40 minutes, it'll be more than that because we're going to get probably 5 laps in. So it'll be more along the lines of closer 48. To 45 or 48 or 49 or 50 minutes because we'll take the white flag right before the 40-minute mark. So
don't short fuel.
Yeah. So it's like a 9-minute 40 second lap. It's It's a draft track for the SRFs, all of the straights. So it's pretty much it alternates between draft packs versus and then when you get into the technical sections, trying to break the draft.
Yeah.
So the times between drivers will be very spread out, but the draft will keep people together. So yeah, it turns into a very strategic tactical battle to try to put yourself in the right place at the right time to try to escape or work together to try to catch back up. So it'll be it's always always gets a little wild there, and I'm sure it'll be the same this weekend.
Yep. All right. And once again, we're running a little long, but it's time to bring in our special guest of the week. And I say long, but this is a new thing, so we don't know if it's long or not. So it is what it is. Let's see if we can bring in our special. Can
I'm
you hear
here.
me?
How you doing?
Mr.
Yeah, I got
Michael
you. Can you hear
Hinkle
me? Okay,
is
great.
out of your busy schedule to join us tonight and do podcast.
Well, my name's Michael Hinkle. I'm a racing enthusiast, is what I what I would like to say.
Yeah.
I work for Iracing now. Wasn't always that way, and I do race in real life. I race Formula V in real life, and one of the things that I'm proud of is the Formula V that's in iRacing is actually, well, it was started out life as my Formula V, my personal Formula V that I race currently in real life. Yeah, I work in their QA department.
Okay.
So I really get to enjoy the sim on a day-to-day basis,
Yeah.
honestly. I think it's the best job at iRacing because I get to do a little bit of everything. I test the new content. I make sure the new content is working as described or prescribed by the teams. I go over the dash, in the car. I make sure the wheels are on the right way, just silly things that you wouldn't think of. The logos on the brake calipers are correct, right? Of course, we miss a ton of stuff. There's always a ton of stuff that goes out like kind of last minute, and we find those things after the fact too. And of course, the community helps with that.
Yeah.
So I also work a little bit as a liaison between the community and iRacing. So I collect a lot of feedback from the forums and through Discord and other channels, and report those issues to the developers. The developers fix those issues, and then I verify that they're fixed, and then I give them the green light to go ahead and put that change out to the membership.
I'm hearing that sim racing came before.
Well, it did before my Formula V with SCCA career. I can say that. I've been around racing my entire life. My dad worked on a pro stock growing up, so we were at oval tracks almost every weekend. At first in a tent, and then later in a camper, and we were there Friday nights, Saturday nights around New England. But anyway, later in life, I definitely wanted to get into racing, but didn't have the budget. So iRacing was there at that time, and so I actually got a secondhand wheel and started doing that. So I've been an iRacing member for 11 or 12 years now, and I think it was 2 or 3 years after I started iRacing, I thought, how can I do this in real life? I was doing pretty good in iRacing. I was winning some races here and there. I wasn't amazing, but I thought I'm decent at this, and I've always loved racing, and I wanted to pursue something. So I went down to a local SCCA race and just showed up with no contact or information. Just showed up and saw what was out there. And I remember seeing the Formula Vs and thinking, oh, those cars kind of slow. I actually wanted to race Spec Racer Ford. But then I saw the price tags. And
a little more.
Formula V made sense.
Yeah.
So I got a secondhand car that had needed a lot of work, and started racing with the SCCA. So, and that was I've been 9 years now.
Okay.
With SCCA, and I've had some great success. My first year was rough because I had a used car that needed a lot of love. But after the first year and a lot of learning a lot and getting a lot of help from the local community, I started being more successful, and then I won multiple New England championships. And last year, with the support of iRacing, I was lucky enough to go to the SCCA runoffs at Virginia, and of course, I met you there.
Yeah, that was a great thing to meet you there.
Yeah, which was an amazing, goal of mine, and it's just like a dream come true. So, I get to work at something I was doing for fun, and now I get to race doing something I've always wanted to do, and they help me out with it. So it's really an absolute dream come true, and I think it proves that to any kiddos out there watching, you can do it too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, your real world racing, feel safe, the action and kicking butt on iRacing. So
Yeah, the Weekend Warriors League, what you guys done is amazing. I wish I could race it more, and I probably shouldn't make so many excuses. I should just get in there and do it. But I
yeah,
haven't,
we've seen you a few times.
yeah. Doing it for a living now, I don't race as often as I used to,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
I do this big special events, and we do charity
yeah,
races and whatnot. But I am in the sim a lot during the day doing performance driving, so I just
yeah,
don't
yeah.
don't do as much as I used to, and especially on weekends, I'm working on my car and trying to go
Hmm.
to the real life races. So, been
Yeah.
very successful this year, winning many of the New England races that we've had. I wish
In September.
I wish I was, but I'm not.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Oh,
no. No, the last year was a long. It was a lot of races. We did a ton of races, a ton of
yeah.
extra races, preparing the car, spending a lot of money getting everything going to race at the highest level in Formula V. And
Hmm.
I promised my wife that we would take a year off from doing that again,
Yeah, yeah,
at least 1 year. So
yeah.
maybe next year.
Yeah. I didn't say there. Oh,
Yeah,
there you
yeah,
go.
exactly. Yeah.
Or you can get the
That,
June sprints.
yeah, I'd like to get out there. That's one of my bucket list tracks.
Yep.
But I got to go for the runoffs because
Yeah.
you're just not going to get the crowd and the
Yeah.
competition that you're going to see at the runoffs, and it's amazing.
Great. Last year, as he mentioned there at VIR, we had a bit of a get together for a lot of the and had a little lunch.
Yeah, no, it was good to see
Yeah.
you, and I've seen you, pictures of you, and
Yeah.
the Weekend Warriors League and everything, and we've chatted before, and
Yep.
I didn't even know you were going to be there at the time.
Uh,
I was so focused on what I was
yeah.
doing there. So
Well, I think we go way back. I think I remember racing.
yeah,
So,
yeah, it was a smaller community then.
so what's on the, go ahead.
So the VIR runoff. So was it raining last season or last year?
No, it
No.
didn't
Or was
rain
it the year
during our
before?
race. I mean, it's a
No.
3-day
year.
event, so you might have seen some rain. I don't remember if any other races it rained during them. I don't believe so, but it's
Okay.
the
possible.
year before
Gotcha, okay.
soaked in monsoon and yeah.
Yeah,
I went there.
because I saw the video of that race, the Formula V's through there, and it looks like they were barely hanging on through roller coaster and hog pen. So I was just gonna I was just gonna ask what that experience was like going through those corners. But I guess even in the dry, that's a wild sequence of corners to go through in the V's.
Hog's Pen is just as interesting as it is in the sim. I mean, you hit that curb on the left, you turn to the right, and you just hope that it's going to hold on when you put your foot to the floor.
Yeah.
I went there earlier in the season to do Hoosier Super Tour, and it absolutely monsooned. And I was one of 2 Formula V's that went out for the last qualifying, just because I had some carburetor issues, so I needed to make sure the car was working. And so I've driven that track in the rain too, in monsoon conditions, and tricky to say the least.
It was raining start.
Yeah, no,
So,
I know exactly what you mean, because I've been in the cockpit thinking I can't see anything, but I refuse to lift. So,
Yeah.
So Michael, one of the go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, so that's the same reaction I have. I've only ever driven in the sim, but when now that it rains in iRacing, the first races I ever did in the rain, that's also my exact reaction. I cannot see where anything is. I have no idea where I am on the track. Where is everybody else? So that just even just in the sim in iRacing, it was terrifying. So yeah, let alone doing that in real life. So that's yeah, y'all two are crazy.
Yeah, that was to be honest, that was I did a lot of the testing for rain when we were deving it towards the end to try to tweak everything to get it right, and it was a little bit of an internal argument we were having about how much spray exists, and I had showed them videos, and I described, like, literally sometimes I'm looking to the left and the right to look for the braking markers because you can't see in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we got it right. We nailed it.
Yeah. Yeah. I
you
think
know,
so.
one of the things that it's really great working at iRacing is that they're putting realism before gamification, and
Yeah.
I think you can see that in the product, and specifically with what we did with Rain.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
incredible. Obviously, I don't have anything to compare it to in real life, but just in the sim, the experience driving in the rain is, yeah, it's unlike anything I thought it would be. Um, uh, just playing other sims or other games, yeah, it's just kind of like, in other games, it's, just it's the same track, but there's rain on the screen or whatever, or on the visor. But in iRacing, yeah, it's a completely different experience. Both the dealing with the spray, the dynamic changing of the track. You can actually see the
Mhm.
puddles growing or see the puddles disappearing. You can actually see, visually see where you're supposed to drive, or where it's too dangerous to drive. So it's, yeah, it's been an incredible experience to in iRacing to learn how to do that.
Awesome. I'm glad you're enjoying it and
Mhm.
appreciate it.
Well,
I get that question all the time.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm sure
Um,
you do.
well, I'll tell you the story of how I helped iRacing develop that car. Is before I started working in iRacing, I was working for another company, completely happy where I was, and they contacted me because they're right here in New England, through our New England Formula V Facebook page, and asked me if I could talk to them, and we discussed things, and they ended up doing the scan of the car. I brought it to Kevin Aronelli's house, and
Mm.
they 3D scanned it and everything. And through that process, they asked me to, basically make a workbook of, the gear ratios, the top speeds, all this stuff, all this information. And I gave them telemetry from my real life racing because I run an aim system in my
Well,
car.
okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we use that telemetry to line up what tracks we had in iRacing that I've been to, and try to get the feeling of the car as close as we could to real life. And they signed me up for an alpha account at the time, so I could
Yeah.
start driving it and giving them feedback. And
Mhm.
this is not unique to the Formula V. They do this with all of the cars, and we usually have pro drivers taking time out of their schedules, or, well, of course, a lot of them do
Yeah.
iRacing anyway, but driving the
Not.
cars and using that data to line up as
Yep.
close to we can as real life. And again, it's a simulation; it's not real life. Otherwise, it'd be
Yep.
called real life.
Yep.
But we lined up the data like really, really close at New Hampshire Motor Speedway's road course. And I really feel like if you take out top speed, because the top speed, we put the bigger tires, we run the slick tires in real life, and they
Mhm.
put the radials on it in the
Right.
sim. They changed a couple of small things and whatnot to make it more of a universal global Formula V.
Right.
So anyway, take away a little bit of the speed, but the feeling is exactly the same. I tell people all the time the feeling is exactly the same at New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of comments from other racers after the release saying, "Hey, you made the car too slow. It goes faster in a
Yeah.
straight line." Well, it does go faster in a straight line if you don't have the big tires on it. You got the Aero
Mhm.
tires on it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but barring a couple of small things like that, I think it's as close as it gets. I love racing it. I raced it a ton when it came out. I still hop on it, and luckily I can just hop on it and race it with zero practice, and
Yeah.
still win
Yeah.
races.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so I think it is very close. We use real life telemetry to the best of our ability to make it as close as we could, and with my feedback. And
Yeah.
the devs listened to my feedback. They didn't push anything off or anything like that. If I asked them to change something, they changed it,
Yeah.
because I was the one with the experience in the room,
Sure.
so they
Yep.
listened, and it was great. It was a great experience, and that's how I ended up with a job at iRacing. We had such a good relationship and development process through that they basically, one of the people that work at iRacing said, "Hey, you should apply for this job," and I applied, and here I am today.
That's awesome. I was got in on the Kenny Stripling out here, who's one of the top 5 in the country. Racer X did some testing with the Gen 3 to tweak it a little bit before it was released. So that being on doing some of that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yep. So being part of the alpha team and working with the devs like that is really a neat experience. I'd like to drive a Gen 3 in real life. I it's on my radar. I'm thinking about
there you go.
possibly trying it out, making the switch even.
Get you fixed up.
All right. Let me know.
Yeah. And, Jason, anything else to pepper him with?
I was just gonna say the Formula V. Yeah, it's what I started out with in iRacing, and it's what hooked me and kept me on the sim. So yeah, it was a great job developing that. It's a very fun car to race and drive. So yeah, and I guess I was going to ask how you got into the Formula V, but it was kind of a that was within the budget, correct?
Basically, yeah. When I looked at the other cool cars at the SCCA, I looked at the Formula V and I said, "Oh, those are what I can afford." Yeah, champagne taste on a beer budget. You go race Formula V, and the New England Formula V crowd. You know, if you're going to get into racing, and I can say this is something that if anybody's looking at the SCCA, it seems a little daunting at first. But if you're going to get into racing, go down to the track and see what's popular in your area. You know, in my area, Formula V is really popular. In some parts of the country, it's not. And it's unfortunate, but you gotta, you want to race what's popular in your area, and has a good support group. And the New England Formula V group is great, and that's what really kind of hooked me in that going in that direction. So, and of course, the budget is also great, but it's a purpose built open wheel race car with a ton of history too. So that's also a fantastic part of it.
Yep. Yeah, it goes way back.
Yeah. New Hampshire Motor Speedway's you're crazy for racing that track. The outfield section.
Oh no, it's fantastic. That's actually my favorite New England track.
It's like no walls out there. I don't know. It makes me nervous even driving it in the sim.
The scariest part at New Hampshire Motor Speedway is when you're coming back onto the oval from the outfield section. There's a wall on your left and a wall on your right where they basically took 2 jersey barriers out of the way to allow the track to flow. And when you're coming down that hill, the rear end gets light right before, as you're turning left, right before you yank it to the right, and a mistake there can be brutal. So, but no, I have a great time doing it, and I encourage anybody to get out there and go to an SCCA event and try it out. If you enjoy an iRacing, you'll enjoy it in real life.
Yeah, and that's a very Frank. Last week said the same thing about if you want to get into it in real life, just go to the track, go to the race, because that's how you'll figure out what will actually work in your area. So it's
and if you can't afford it, or it's just not in the cards for you, iRacing is a great way, especially with all the great leagues and everything going on. You can spend hours racing. I can do 5 races a day at home when I do 5 or 6 races a year with the SCCA. So great community in iRacing as well. So I mean, and as close to real life as you need it to be, save a lot of dollars. So I haven't ran with the Challenge Cup guys, but I'm very interested. I did order a set of tires that they use. So they use a treaded tire similar to what's in iRacing. And our New England group is actually testing that tire this year. So I have a new set in the trailer that I haven't ran yet. So we're testing the tire and there's been 5 or 6 people every weekend. We usually get 30 to 35 cars sign up for a race. 5 or 6 guys have been running that tire, and at the end of the year, we're going to have a collective group decision on a direction we might go to that tire. We might stay with what we have, or we might continue with a split. So no, I haven't. To answer your question, sorry to go on a tangent.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
Well, I know I haven't ran with them yet, but we're all good friends and have no qualms with them. And they decided to go a little bit different direction, and they're a little bit more west than we are. So they run a different tracks, but some of our guys do race with them, and sometimes they come and race with us. So we've always had a good relationship because we're all just Formula V drivers at the end of the day. The tire you're on doesn't matter. And I see some benefits to their tire. I still have some questions about it that I hope to find out myself firsthand I decided to put my money where my mouth was and try it and buy the tire, and I'm going to go out there and run it and see what we can find out.
Really appreciate you, like I said, taking time out of your prime example and do so. So really appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, you guys need anything from me or have any further questions, want me on again, I had a great time. So just stay in touch, Stevie. I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Michael.
Yep.
We'll talk again.
All right. See you guys later.
See you,
Take
Michael.
care.
Thank you.
Bye.
And that's it for another week. Jason, what do you think?
Yeah, another amazing guest that we had this week, between him and Frank. Yeah, it's I think it's a really good example of tying the sim and real life together. So yeah,
We
great
got another one
conversation.
next week.
Yes, exactly.
We got another one next week. Megan Overstreet, that she's been kicking butt in the sim and was fortunate to get one of Frank's scholars, get another little point of view on sim and announcing and real world announcing and all the stuff he does. So we got some great guests coming down the line and to help keep tying this real world sim stuff together.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure so far. Yeah, so I've been learning a lot from our guests, and and sharing the league with everybody, and going over the highlights and showing some things that or try to highlight other people that don't may not get all of the attention. So yeah.
Yep. You have a little more
Love to,
time